My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 89 missed calls by morning. My dad's last voicemail was shaky. Jennifer, what happened? The bank shut everything down. But they didn't know that their simple step away from the family text would cost them exactly $87,000. Until they realized who was really keeping them afloat. If you've ever been the family ATM who finally said, no more, hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you believe actions have consequences, and get ready, because this story shows what happens when the quiet one finally speaks up. It was Thursday night, 7:42 p.m. I was heating up leftover curry, thinking about finishing my work reports, but then my phone lit up. Family group chat. Mom, Dad, my sister Megan, and Aunt Patricia, who always acted like she ran our family. The message was short but brutal. We talked about it. We think it's best if you step away from the family for now. Megan needs space. We all do. But the real punch came next. Aunt Patricia reacted with a thumbs up emoji. That's it. No call. No explanation. Just a thumbs up, like I was some random person they could dismiss with a tap. I stared at my phone for a full minute. My heart was pounding, but not from sadness. From anger. Pure, cold anger. I typed back, understood. I'll step away from the family fund too. But they had no idea what that meant. Not yet. That night, I logged into the bank account I'd been running for 5 years. The account that paid for everything. Mom's diabetes medicine. Dad's mortgage help. Megan's rent when she couldn't pay. The family emergency fund that I created, managed, and funded mostly by myself. At 3:11 a.m., I closed it. All of it. But the real chaos started immediately. My phone went crazy. Buzz after buzz after buzz. By sunrise, 89 missed calls. Dad's final voicemail was panicked. Jennifer, what's happening? The bank flagged everything. Why would you do this? I sent one simple text back. I'm honoring your decision. But to understand why this felt so good, you need to know the whole story. How I became the family's secret bank. How they used me for years but never once said thank you. It started 5 years ago. Megan was in bad shape. Drugs, drinking, the whole mess. Dad called me crying from the parking lot. She won't make it, Jennifer. The hospital won't take her without insurance. But nobody else had money. So I emptied my savings. $23,000 for rehab. Gone, just like that. Did they pay me back? No. Did they even ask how I was doing after giving up my entire emergency fund? Also no. But it didn't stop there. When Mom got diabetes, I started paying for her medication. When Dad's work hours got cut, I helped with his bills. Every time Megan crashed, they came to me. Quietly. Desperately. Can you help us set up something permanent? They asked. Like a family emergency pool? I was 27, single, working 80-hour weeks in finance. It made sense, I thought. I could afford it. So I did it. But what I created wasn't just an account. It became their lifeline. Mom's prescriptions. Megan's therapy payments. Even their phone bill when they fell behind. They gave me all their passwords, account numbers, everything. Not because they trusted me, but because they didn't want to deal with it themselves. They called me the responsible one. But they really meant the convenient one. My life became a spreadsheet of quiet sacrifices. Meanwhile, Megan kept spiraling. DUI in 2020. I paid for the lawyer. Moved in with some guy named Daniel who was definitely bad news. When she left him in the middle of the night, I sent her money for a hotel and food. But I never saw a penny back. They never asked where the money came from. They never noticed that I moved to a smaller apartment, stopped taking vacations, and ate cheap meals most nights. They just expected me to be there, ready to fix everything. Until the Christmas incident 2 years ago. Megan threw a fit because I said no to buying her new tires. Not after I just paid her rent. She told my parents I was making her feel judged. That night, Dad texted me, "Try to be more understanding, Jennifer. She's in recovery. You don't know how hard that is." But I snapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Something inside me just cracked. I didn't reply to his text. Instead, I started doing something different. I began documenting everything. Every dollar sent. Every bill paid. Every excuse they made. Screenshots, emails, bank statements. Not to use against them, not yet, but to remind myself it was real. Until last month, when everything came to a head. Megan texted the family group. Hey, I know money's tight, but could the fund cover a yoga retreat in Arizona? It's for my mental health. A yoga retreat. $3,200. But I didn't answer right away. I waited. I wanted to see what they'd say. Dad, the same man I'd saved from overdraft fees twice last year, replied, sounds like something you really need. Let's see what we can do. Mom added a heart emoji. That's when I realized they weren't just using me anymore. They expected it. They thought the fund was theirs. That I was some kind of silent donor who'd never say no. But the final straw came 2 nights before that group message. We were on a family video call. I tried to share good news about my promotion. I'd just been made director at my firm. Huge raise. Big responsibility. But Dad interrupted me mid-sentence. Sorry, can we get back to Megan's housing situation? She doesn't feel safe in her current place. They wanted to move her somewhere better. With my money. Obviously. But I said something I'd never said before. Maybe it's time someone else stepped up. Silence. Cold, angry silence. Until that group message came 2 days later. We think it's best if you step away for now. Aunt Patricia's thumbs up felt like a slap. They thought they were cutting me off. They didn't realize they were cutting the cord to the only thing keeping their lives together. But the fallout started exactly 36 hours later. First came the overdraft notices. Then Mom's pharmacy called. Her prescription was declined. Then Megan, the one who wanted space, left a screaming voicemail. Why would you do this? You knew I needed that payment. By Sunday, the texts were relentless. Dad sent voice message after voice message, unraveling in real time. The mortgage bounced. I thought you handled the insurance. The car is unregistered now. What did you do to the utility account? The bank locked our checking account. You need to fix this. Fix this. As if I had broken something. As if I hadn't just stepped back like they asked. But the real problem wasn't that I stopped helping. It was that they never realized how much I was holding everything together. Until they called a family Zoom meeting. My cousin Emily set it up, pretending it was just a talk. But the second I joined, I saw their faces lined up like a jury. Mom's lips pressed tight. Dad pacing behind his camera. Megan with tears streaming down her face. Aunt Patricia in her usual scarf and pearls, looking smug. Why did you do this to us? Megan started, voice shaking. You just abandoned us. But I was ready. After everything I've done? You mean after I paid your rent, funded your rehab, and got kicked out for saying no to your yoga retreat? That's not fair, she began. Fair. I said. You want fair? For 5 years, I've cleaned up your financial messes. I've paid your overdrafts, bailed you out while you posted inspirational quotes about healing. The moment I hesitate, you exile me from the family chat like I was disposable. Mom finally spoke. It wasn't exile. We were giving you space. No, I cut in. You were siding with Megan again, like always. You found a polite way to tell me to disappear. So I did. But then I did something that changed everything. I shared my screen. A massive spreadsheet appeared. Rows and rows of payments. Dates. Amounts. Every dollar tracked. Rent payments. Medical bills. Utilities. Car repairs. Even Aunt Patricia's emergency dental work that I'd quietly covered. The final number at the bottom. $87,643. Dead silence. Dad stepped back from his camera like he'd been slapped. You've been keeping tabs on us? Mom said, horrified. No, I said calmly. I've been surviving you. But Megan lunged at her screen like a child having a tantrum. You're just bitter. You've always been bitter because no one gives you a gold star for being the good daughter. No, I said. I just want boundaries. And I'm done being your financial safety net. Aunt Patricia muttered, You think money is the only thing that matters? No, I replied. But it was the only thing you ever came to me for. But I wasn't finished. I delivered the final blow. I've already contacted the bank. All joint accounts closed. The credit cards were canceled. The insurance premiums stopped. You'll need to handle everything yourselves now. You wanted me to step away. This is what that looks like. Mom gasped. Dad's face went pale. Megan looked like she'd been shot. But I still wasn't done. I also spoke to a lawyer. You'll be getting documents soon. I'm dissolving any legal ties between me and anything financial with this family, just in case someone tries to use my name or credit again." "You're overreacting," Megan shrieked. "You're cutting us off." "I'm protecting myself," I said. "I'm not your plan B anymore. Not your fallback. Not your free ride." Until that moment, they never understood the weight I'd been carrying. But now they'd have to carry it themselves. The silence after that call was incredible. For the first time in years, my phone didn't buzz with quick favor texts. No guilt-filled voicemails. No crying emojis. Nothing. But I should have known better. Exactly 10 days later, I got an email from an unknown address. "You've ruined everything." Attached were screenshots of bills, Megan's eviction notice, power company warnings. They were falling apart fast. And the thing about people who are used to leaning on you, they don't fall gracefully. They crash, and they blame you for the landing. Until Mom showed up at my office a week later. I was in a meeting when my assistant came in, wide-eyed. "There's a woman here. Says she's your mother. Won't leave." There she was in the lobby, pale and shaking, holding an envelope of papers. "I didn't know where else to go," she said. "Your dad's sleeping on the couch. Megan hasn't left her room in days. The landlord's changing the locks next week." But then she played her last card. "I raised you. I gave you life. This is how you repay us." That's when I laughed. Not mean, just empty. "You gave me life," I said. "Then spent 30 years convincing me I owed you for it." She had no answer for that. But the real shock came a week later. A thick letter from the bank. Inside was an investigation report. Someone had tried to open a business loan using my name, my social security number, and the tax ID from the family fund. The loan amount, $80,000. For a company called Megan Grace Recovery Services LLC. But here's the thing, that company didn't exist. No LLC filing. No tax records. Nothing. Just forged paperwork with my signature. The only reason it didn't go through? I'd closed the fund account days earlier, triggering a fraud alert. Until that moment, I didn't understand their plan. Get me away from the family quietly. Keep my name attached to everything. Take the money. Let me deal with the consequences when it all collapsed. They didn't just want my help. They wanted to frame me for their mess. But I spent that weekend filing reports. Bank fraud. Police report. IRS notification. Every keystroke felt like therapy. That night, Megan called from a different number. I just wanted to say I get it now. "I'm sorry." But when I asked about the loan application, the line went dead. I blocked the number. Until my Uncle Ray called. He'd been the family outcast for years, the one they called unstable for cutting ties. "Heard about what you did," he said. "You're not the first they drained. Just the first to turn off the faucet." That's when it clicked. This wasn't just about me. This was generational. A pattern of people getting used until they broke. But I didn't break. I escaped. I moved cities 2 months later. New job, better pay, no forwarding address. And one day, in my new apartment, I got a Facebook message from Daniel. "Yeah, Megan's ex-boyfriend. Didn't expect to write this," it said. "But thank you for helping her, even when she didn't deserve it. I wasn't the only thing she needed saving from." Until that message, I didn't realize how much validation I'd been craving. Not from them, but from someone who understood what I'd really been doing all those years. It's been almost a year now since I closed the fund. Since the group chat exile. Since the 3:11 a.m. phone calls and the complete financial collapse. But they never saw it coming. I kept thinking I'd feel guilty. That late-night regret would creep in, whispering, "They're your family, maybe you overreacted." But the only thing I feel now is peace. Real peace. The kind where your phone doesn't buzz with dread. Where your money is yours. Where you don't apologize for being free. Until Christmas Eve, when Mom emailed, "The tree looks emptier this year." With a photo of her and Dad, fake smiles for the camera. Until Megan's birthday in March, when she sent a 5-paragraph essay about reclaiming her power, ending with needing help for first and last month's rent. But I didn't reply to either. The final test came a few weeks ago. I was walking home from work when I saw Aunt Patricia outside a coffee shop. She waved like we were old friends. "You look well," she said. "I am." Then, with zero shame, she asked, "Would you ever consider setting something up again? For emergencies?" But I laughed. Long and deep. I did, I said. It's called my future. Until that moment, I don't think they understood what they'd really lost. Maybe they'll rewrite the story, saying I was greedy or ungrateful. Maybe Megan will start a blog about toxic siblings. But I don't care. Because the truth is simple. I'm not the villain in their story. I'm the one who finally escaped it. And in doing so, I gave myself something they never could. Freedom without conditions. Sometimes the people who call you family are the ones who need you to stay small, stay giving, stay silent. But the moment you choose yourself, you discover who they really were all along. What's the most satisfying moment of standing up for yourself you've ever experienced? Drop it in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales of people who finally said, enough. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away with your dignity intact.